Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga will this morning host a congratulatory breakfast session for the top matric achievers for the class of 2022. And this is ahead of the announcement of the national pass rate this evening.
So over 900,000 learners across the country are receiving their results today. The department has previously reaffirmed its readiness to release them, despite some irregularities reported during the exams last year. So ahead of that breakfast session this morning, our reporter Tshegohaco Moagi is in Randburg for sort of a preview of what's to come. And sure, Tshegohaco, it's been a long wait for these matrics. It's now the 19th of January. This is the latest we've ever released the matric results before. One wonders how they're feeling this morning.
Well, good morning to you, Michelle. I mean, you could imagine that there is some nervousness from those that will be part of the gathering this evening. Most of them, of course, would be the top achievers. Even those that will be here this morning, those are the top achievers. The breakfast expected to start at 9 o'clock on the dot. As the Minister, the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Dr. Rejana Mhaule, together with the Director General, Mr. Matanzi, they will all three be here to congratulate those top achievers for the work that they did. You'd remember, Michelle, that this would be quite an important and a significant congratulatory message from the three leaders, as the matric class of 2022 are the class of grade 10 and 11 of 2020 and 2021 respectively, who really bore the brunt of COVID-19. They felt it the hardest. Remember, Michelle, in 2020 schools having to be closed earlier, and after that they then went back on a rotational timetable. Even when they were in grade 11 of 2021, they then also went on a rotational timetable, and only in 2022 were these learners actually able to sit in class on a face-to-face, full-time basis for the full year. But we were told by the Department of Basic Education throughout the year last year that they had actually completed their curriculum in time, and that there were a lot of revision sessions that were being held, a lot of support that was actually given to the matric class of 2022. Minister Angie Motshekga telling us at one stage that there was a time when this was the cohort that was given the most support because of the challenges and the difficulties that they actually faced due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it would be quite interesting to also hear the exact pass rate for this cohort of 2022, and to hear the message of support that they'll be receiving from not just the DG but also the Deputy Minister and the Minister of Basic Education. That breakfast expected to start at 9 o'clock, and then of course the results will be announced later this evening at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and several analysts already weighing in on exactly what that pass rate will look like, Tshegohaco, exactly what you've just outlined now, the challenges faced by the class of 2022, going as far back as their grade 10 years. All expectations are that the pass rate will decline somewhat.
Well, there are some of those expectations, of course, because of those challenges that these learners actually had in grade 10 and 11. I mean, when I was in conversation just yesterday with the learners who wrote the IEB matric exams, they actually said that they found ways to study in other areas, to try and catch up on the amount of work that they had. When we spoke to one of the schools, Trinity House in Little Falls, Trinity House, they mentioned to us that they went online immediately, but that was not the privilege that many government schools actually had. They were unable to actually do, some learners were unable to do learning online because of the challenges such as network challenges as well that they may have faced. Talking about network challenges, of course, this cohort also facing the issue of load shedding, having to study and learn besides COVID-19 already hitting them so hard in those 2 years. There was also then the issue of load shedding, and the minister often saying that during that load shedding time, the 2 hours that they are actually being load shed, that they then should use that time to study. So it would be quite interesting to see what the pass rate for this particular cohort would be, especially when we look at the various challenges that they faced. Michelle, I mean, you could imagine that with COVID-19, many of us lost loved ones during that time, and this would include these learners as well who were sitting for the matric examinations and perhaps sitting without loved ones, without parents for their support, and even without some grandparents, or just being with people that could possibly support you during this very important year of your life. And those people then and being sadly taken by COVID-19. And this is the reality as well that these learners had to face, that they were young at the time, they were in grade 10 and 11, and then facing this pandemic, and then also facing load shedding. So it will be quite interesting to see what the pass rate will be for this cohort, the matric class of 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. Tshegohaco Moagi, thanks very much indeed for giving us an update, and of course we look forward to the matric results being released later today. Thanks for